Everyone, welcome to the Student Loan Justice live stream for not June 23rd. It's actually June 25th now. Let me just change that for you. I hope everybody is doing well out there in the world. We are studentloanjustice.org. We are the first, the oldest, the largest, and really the only actually true grassroots group fighting only and absolutely for student loan justice. Hope everybody's doing well out there in the world. Lot is going on right now. I've got a couple of announcements. I have to leave with this, guys. We need donations right now. We need to raise about $720 this coming week. So we need 36 people to donate $20, or I guess 72 people to donate $10. Fundraising is always very difficult for us, guys. We survive only and totally on personal gifts from normal people, and we will not exist going forward without your moderate financial support. So if just the people watching this live stream were to donate like 10 or 20 bucks, I think that would get us there. Please, so I can shut up about it. Second announcement, if you have experienced homelessness, that's a thing on our group for sure. I know there's at least probably a dozen people who are either homeless now or they have been homeless in the recent past. Contact Lisa Ansell. She is our California State Chapter Leader. But if you look up or down on our Facebook group, which you can find here, just Google us, you can find it. We're on Facebook. Student Loan Justice on Facebook. You can look for Lisa Ansell, look for my posting and talk to her. That's a lot more of a thing than you might imagine. I'm thrilled to report that this past week, on Wednesday, we were featured front page at The Guardian. And thanks to everybody who stepped up to be interviewed for that piece. And thankfully, they mentioned a bit of truth, a bit of our research that has gone unreported for over a year now. The fact that even before the pandemic, most student loan borrowers were not making payments on their loans before the pandemic. Very important. Similarly, on Friday, we were featured in a big story in Newsweek magazine as well. And again, thanks to everybody. Jackie, too many people to name. Jackie, Christina, John, Talisha, many others, with some very strong quotes. And again, they mentioned that little bit of research that I mentioned. It's very important that the general public realizes how failed the federal student loan program was even before the pandemic. I'm also glad to report that we're scheduled to be going on live national TV this coming week. I'm not going to say more than that. But one other announcement. We've got a bunch of interview requests going on right now on our Facebook group from places like Bloomberg and Financial Times and a couple of other places. I also happen to know that some reporters for some very hoity-toity newspapers in the country are monitoring those requests, and they are contacting people who make comments on those posts. So we're getting interviewed that way as well. So that all bodes really well, guys. It's going to be a very big week for us. By the way, if you have any questions or comments, throw them out. And if I can see them on Twitter or Facebook, I will very happily respond to them if I can see them. So this week is going to be big, maybe arguably the largest in the history of this group, actually. So the concept of canceling student loans by executive order started in this group. In other words, this group launched the concept of canceling student loans by executive order, very important wrinkle, into the public conversation. It started with a seminal Vice News article in August 2000, or was it June? Summer of 2019. And it was our petition that got up to 1.2 million signatures that we started in March 2020 that really launched the concept into the zeitgeist. It wasn't until many months after that that Elizabeth Warren, Chuck Schumer, and others formally launched the concept into Congress, when it never happened but for the people on our group. So we all have a lot to be proud of. And here we are looking forward to this Thursday where the Supreme Court will I have every reason to believe, will issue their ruling on those lame court challenges to Joe Biden's lame loan cancellation. So let me just say, we should be thrilled. We should be thrilled that from our group arose this thing that finally has made it all the way through to a presidential order and to the Supreme Court. And we're going to find out what the result of that is on Thursday. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you, Biden's loan cancellation is lame and feckless. It does not solve the problem at all. It does not help the worst hurt borrowers. And, you know, I don't know which way it'll go. Frankly, I have been predicting for weeks now that I think they will probably affirm the student loan cancellation. And I can get into that for why I think that's true if you want. I know the general word on the street is that they will not because it's a conservative court, but I think they will. We've been doing this for 18 years, guys, and I've got a pretty good sense of things. So I think they probably will affirm the loan cancellation. And guys, that's not good for us. I mean, if you've got $10,000 or less in student loans, okay, great, good for you. But that's not most people on this group. And honestly, they'll make back that 10 grand in interest and penalties and fees in no time. You know, a $10,000 loan cancellation really, it's going to be bad for us, guys. I mean, I guess it's better than not the cancellation, but really, guys, it's we lose whichever way the Supreme Court case goes. If they affirm it, then they're going to say, well, yep, okay, we did something for you, so go away. We're not going to do anything for you more going forward. If we lose it, well, then obviously we lose it, and that's also, I guess, bad. But guys, either way, we lose, and that's just true. The most important, if you're new to the group, the thing that you really need to know is that the number one thing that we are fighting for, even far more important than any gimmicky vote-getting loan cancellation trick like what we've seen from Joe Biden, far more important than that is getting the leverage of bankruptcy rights returned to these loans. That is by far and away more important than this Biden $10,000 or $20,000 loan cancellation. It really is. Unless and until we get the leverage of bankruptcy returned to us. And I don't care whether you would ever or never file. Doesn't matter. We've got to get that leverage back before we're going to see any kind of meaningful loan cancellation. You know, the Founding Fathers called for uniform bankruptcy laws, aka rights, in the Constitution ahead of the power to declare war and raise an army. And that is the one thing that's been taken uniquely away from student loans that has allowed them to weaponize these loans. And by the way, we're a fiercely nonpartisan group. The argument that we make really is a conservative one. We're looking at the worst big government lending monstrosity ever to visit the shores of the United States of America. And follow the money, guys. Qui bono, I think they say. Who benefits from the student loan scam? Number one, the colleges. Number two, the Department of Education. I'd say number three, or, you know, in there also is obviously the lending companies, the servicers, the guarantors, the collection companies, the swamp, Washington, D.C. And, you know, look at states like Texas, which is pretty conservative state. I think most people would agree. The people of Texas owe $141 billion in mostly federal student loan debt. That's over $8.5 billion a year in interest alone that is being sucked out of Texas and sent to the Department of Education largely. And make no mistake, guys, here's another piece of information that we're hoping to get broken in the mainstream media soon. Most student loan borrowers, believe it or not, are either Republican or independent. I kid you not. It's true. Around over 50% of everyone who has been to college, that includes both graduates and non-graduates, over 50% of those people identify politically as being either Republican or independent. And that was true in 2014. And the other data shows that the nation as a whole has trended a little bit to the right, a percentage and a half or 2 percentage points to the right, towards the Republican side since 2014. So most student loan borrowers are either Republican or independent. And if there's haters watching this live stream tonight and you think you're talking to looking at a bunch of blue-haired liberals, you're fucking totally wrong, and you ought to be ashamed of yourself. We're a nonpartisan group. We don't like the Democrats. In fact, I can't stand the Democrats. The Democrats betrayed us last session on returning bankruptcy protections to student loans. The colleges lobbied the Democrats last session at the 11th hour, and they killed S-2598, a very good bill that would have returned standard bankruptcy protections to student loans. So, but we don't love the Republicans either. Republicans are fucking evil. Just listen to all the rhetoric. I think most people would agree that, at least as far as the public conversation is concerned, the Republicans are losing. They are pushing away all student loan borrowers. 85% of student loan borrowers were never going to be able to repay their loans before the pandemic. 85%. And as I said, half of them are Republican or independent. And the Republicans for the past 2-3 years have been jamming their thumb in our eyeballs. That's the Republican base. Make no mistake. Around 1 in 5 people adults in this country have student loans. 1 in 5. And slightly more than half, are either Republican or independent. So the Republicans are completely ridiculous. I mean, they are politically idiots for so fiercely opposing student loan cancellation. They just are. But whatever, I don't see that changing anytime soon. What I do see changing, possibly, is the Republicans realizing that they are pushing away their base and they're losing a lot of close elections like Georgia, like Michigan, like Pennsylvania, like Arizona and Nevada, and many, many, many other states where student loan debt actually exceeds the entire state budget. So I think there's a very good opportunity for us to compel the Republicans to return in the House. I'm talking about Jim Jordan, to return bankruptcy rights to the loans. Many conservatives, including people from the Cato Institute, the Federalist Society, many other very conservative bastions of thought, George Mason University, they have all called for the return of bankruptcy protections to student loans. It's kind of a no-brainer, guys. And I'm here to tell you, when we get the right of bankruptcy returned, it's pretty much game over. We win. I think the president is going to, whether it's Biden or the next president, they are going to have to cancel loans broadly, widely, meaningfully. They're going to have to administer the various income-driven repayment plans with good faith instead of bad faith, so that most people make it through instead of most people being disqualified out of it. A universe of very good things happens when we, the people, get the leverage of bankruptcy returned. We're still fighting for loan cancellation. Don't get me wrong. There's no doubt about that. We're 1,000% in. But that's only going to happen through bankruptcy, guys. And I think the past 2.5 years of, if you've been watching this debate unfold at all, should convince you of that fact. We've seen what Biden and the Democrats are going to do. And, make no mistake, Biden and the Democrats went out of their way to kill the return of bankruptcy rights to the loans. They would much rather do these token forgiveness gimmicks and perpetuate this loan scam. That's what the Democrats want. And if I were a Republican watching this, I would be very concerned, because not only are the people in Washington, D.C., and I would say the liberal elite succeeding in perpetuating this loan monstrosity that enriches the colleges, they're also sucking critical votes, tens of millions of votes, away from the Republicans in so doing that. So the Republicans have been duped. The Republicans are idiots. The Republicans have been tricked onto the wrong side of this issue. So we on this group are fighting with every fiber of our being to get bankruptcy returned. We've got good Republicans in the Senate and the House, people like John Cornyn, Josh Hawley in the Senate, people like Matt Gaetz, maybe Glenn Grothman and others in the House. We've got a ton of conservative thinkers, very well-respected conservative thinkers, calling for the return of bankruptcy protections to the loans. And by the way, I think the colleges should be put on the hook a little bit. I think most people agree. And indeed, S2598 from last session required the colleges to reimburse the federal government a token amount, but not insignificant, in the event of a bankruptcy discharge. This is exactly what the Republicans need to do. And smart senators like Josh Hawley and John Cornyn have, they were sponsoring that bill. So, but it's going to take a lot of work, guys. The swamp is against us. And, the media, despite our recent luck with the media and hopefully more forthcoming, the media is almost completely and totally against us, guys. They just are. That's always been true, but it's far more true today than it ever has been in the past. So we're going to need a lot of help from you people. And that means you sitting there. You know, I know the other groups, they're not fighting for bankruptcy. They're fucking clueless. The other groups are fake, in my humble, very well-studied opinion. And I can talk about that a little more if you really want me to. It's true. I mean, some of the other groups, if not all the other major groups, are literally corrupted. They're making too much money off of the scam to actually want to solve the problem. They're pimping this problem. This group here knows the actual path to student loan justice, and it starts with getting the constitutionally enshrined right of bankruptcy returned to all student loan borrowers as it exists for all other borrowers for all other loans in this country. That's the strong hand, and that's what we're playing, and you need to help us because almost everything is aligned against us. All we have, literally, in many ways, all we have are us, the people. That's all we have. And that means you sitting there. You know, you can't wallflower your way to victory here. Nobody on this group, and we have many people on this group who are doing the grunt work, the day in, day out, doing our daily, go to our website, do our daily actions. That's the number one thing that you can do if you're new to the group, if you want to help. Do a month worth of our daily actions. They're very quick. It's like basically Twitter stuff. Like most of our daily actions take not even 5 minutes to do. That's the first thing that you would do if you actually wanted to help, because these are your loans. This is your livelihood, and this is your problem. And make no mistake, ladies and gentlemen, it is going to get very ugly going forward. The number one goal of our opposition, the bad guys, the lending sharks, they want the loans turned back on, and they want bankruptcy to remain gone. They are about to get their wish, and it is going to be a fucking bloodbath if we let that happen. I hope that you will join us and help us fight so that doesn't happen. We came very close last session. I think we probably could have turned the table if even, I don't know, maybe 20 or 30,000 more people had been helping us. You know, we've got over 1.2 million members and 1.4 million members in this group, at least on paper. If even 10% of the people on our group were, say, doing our daily actions, this problem would be solved. But it all starts with you. You can't be lazy. We don't like lazy people on this group. This group is for fighting. This group is for working and for fighting. So I hope you'll remember that. I'm going to quickly look for your comments now. I'm going to make this maybe a rather short live stream. I don't know how long I've been going on here for, but I do apologize. I try to keep my live streams to less than 20 minutes these days. Hey, Michael Cheney's with us. Hey, Michael, how are you? Truck driver from Ohio. Michael was featured very prominently in The Guardian the other day, and our hats are off to you. Our student loan, our purposely distressed trucker's hat for student loan justice is definitely off to you, Michael. Michael says, yes, but she brought her own bankruptcy bill at the time of the vote. Oh, I think you're talking about Elizabeth Warren. Yes, you are. Elizabeth Warren went out of her way to not support our bill last session. Shame, big shame on Elizabeth Warren. She ought to be ashamed of herself. You know, we were featured top story on 60 Minutes in 2006, and we recommended that they interview then Harvard professor Dr. Elizabeth Warren for that interview. And they did interview her, and she said all the right things at the time. And that was 15, 16 years ago. And now Elizabeth Warren is playing politics instead of actually trying to solve things. The Democrats had control of the House and the Senate and the presidency last session. They could have returned bankruptcy protections easily. And Elizabeth Warren betrayed us. She betrayed us. She ought to be ashamed of herself. And the colleges ought to be ashamed of themselves. Most notably, the historically black colleges and universities, I have to say. Like, the worst hurt borrowers in this country are African Americans. So why would the HBCUs be opposing this legislation? Disgusting. Disgusting. I could go on for a while on that. I probably should write an article about it, but it's just disgusting what happened last session. So I'm going to hold my tongue for now, but suffice it to say, we got the dog dirty done on us by the Democrats, guys, last session. That's true. Hey, Lisa Ansel, I was just mentioning you. Again, if you have experienced homelessness in the past few years, and student loans sort of folded into that whole, were baked into that cake, contact Lisa. You can see her comments in on our Facebook live stream here just below this. Lisa says, our voices are getting noticed. Time to ramp up our efforts. Call your senators and reps and demand the return of bankruptcy now. Yes, what Lisa said. I could not agree more, Lisa. You know, whether you would ever or never file for bankruptcy, that's not important. Nobody wants to file for bankruptcy. It's a terrible thing to have to do. But we've got to get the leverage of bankruptcy back on our side as it exists for all other loans. It's the most important thing that anybody fighting with us should be doing. Hey, Jackie Brown is with us tonight. She says, it is very strange. And by the way, Jackie was featured totally prominently in Newsweek. And I saw Jackie. She's taken a lot of flack from the haters on the internet about that. And my hat is off to you as well, Jackie. I mean, everybody watching this should be saluting Jackie and Michael and Lisa as well. You know, these are the fighters here. These people have been fighting, and they're just normal people, just like you, just like me. There's nothing super special about them that makes them able to do things that you're not able to do. No. You can be doing everything that everybody else is doing, most especially the actual fighters on our group, like Michael and Jackie, Lisa, and many others. I can't start naming names. I'll be here all night. But Jackie says, it's very strange how no one that proposed those bills last session, none of them are speaking up on bankruptcy. Yeah, you're right, Jackie. That's a good point. You know, Senator Dick Durbin introduced the bill. Josh Hawley, John Cornyn co-sponsored the bill in the Senate. Jerry Nadler, David Cicilline introduced the bill in the House. And we have not heard any of those guys say anything about bankruptcy yet. I'm worried, ladies and gentlemen. You know, public opinion and you know, common sense and all those things may be on our side. And 38 million people should be on our side. And they will be when you tell them about this group, by the way. But you know what? It all comes down to Congress, guys. It all comes down to Congress. Is Congress going to fix what they broke? Or are they going to allow themselves to be lobbied by the special interests, by the colleges, by the banks, by the servicers, by the wealthy other interests that want to keep this loan scam going? And are they going to push this thing truly into dystopian realms? I don't know. I think everything depends on how hard we, on this group, fight. There is no other group actually fighting for bankruptcy, guys. It's only us. And I'm here to tell you, we're going to be begging Joe Biden or the next president forever to cancel loans. And no matter how the Supreme Court thing goes on Thursday, assuming we get a judgment on Thursday, we're still screwed, guys. We're still absolutely screwed. We don't want to be in that game. And quite frankly, you know, in my humble opinion, and one of the things that people jumped on Jackie about was she said, you know, I've never paid all my student loans. I never will because it's a scam. Well, frankly, I wish everybody had recognized that fact early on and had similarly done what I think is absolutely the right thing. Do not pay your hard-earned money into this predatory, nationally threatening loan scam. That doesn't help you. All it does is feeds the beast. Don't do it. But yeah, you're right. You know, we've got to push, guys. We've got to push. We've got the muscle. We've got a huge muscle. We've got 1.4 million people in this group, at least on paper, but we've got to flex it. We've got to. And I know most people watching this who are new to the group, they're not used to being like instructed and told what to do and stuff. But you know, the other groups are completely full of shit. They want to tell you what you want to hear. They want to make you feel like you're helping fight this battle by signing a petition or some other nonsense. That's bullshit, guys. That does not solve this problem. All it does is perpetuates this problem so that the people who are grifting off of this problem can keep grifting. That has never solved anything in this country's history. What has always solved everything in this country's history is actual normal people like me and you and Jackie and Michael and Lisa and many other people who are actually rolling up their sleeves, actually getting their hands dirty and fighting both for themselves, and we are fighting for ourselves, but fighting for the 42 other million people in the country, 38 million of whom were never going to be able to repay their loans. Even before the pandemic, that was true. And just think about this, guys. If they can do to other loans what they've done to student loans, that is remove bankruptcy rights for all intents and purposes, they will. They absolutely will. They would love to. They would love to take bankruptcy away from medical debt. They would love to take bankruptcy away from credit cards and home loans and auto loans and small business loans. They would love to do that. And if we let them, that is what will happen. You know, John Adams once said, and maybe I'll finish with this. John Adams once said, there are two ways to conquer and enslave a nation. One is by the sword. The other is by debt. And that is the gun whose barrel down which we are looking now. That's bad grammar. But it's true, guys. A lot rides on this battle, and we need you. We need you in this fight, you sitting there. And I think Michael and Jackie and Lisa and everybody else whose maybe comments I can't see at this point, I think they will tell you it feels very good to fight this fight, and it does feel good because we're telling nothing more than the truth. The lending system is failed, guys. My best estimate is that 80%, 4 out of 5 of all borrowers are not going to resume making payments on their loans. It was like 59% were not paying before the pandemic. I think that's going up to 80%, maybe even higher. So this could and almost certainly will get very ugly, and we need you to fight, or you will be wrecked. And it's just as simple as that. So throw off whatever psychological baggage is that's holding you back. Throw off your laziness, your cynicism, throw off your procrastination, and do our daily actions. It's not hard. And as I said, it feels great to fight this fight. All we do is tell the truth, and we make very respectable people look very foolish. Anybody who steps in our way, we destroy. Our opposition is a mile wide and an inch deep. They scurry like cockroaches when the lights are turned on. We've never lost this argument anywhere, and we never will. Check me out this coming week on live national TV, and you will see me destroy a conservative talk show host. And I'm not going to say anything more than that. But you got to help us fight, guys, because, might should make right. And but bad politics have allowed some very bad things to fester in this country over the years. And we, meaning you, are the front line in that battle, whether you want to be or not. We're all accidental activists here. That's true. But you got to fight, or else we lose. And we're on a very good spot, guys. We've never been better positioned to finally get justice. So take some heart in that. Take some heart in our recent victories. Hopefully, we'll be hitting a critical mass soon. We're very close to a critical mass, guys. I can feel it. Can you? I can feel it. So I look forward to that. Tell everyone you know about this group. Last thing I'll say, first thing I said, please donate. We don't want to disappear, guys. We can do what we do on very little, but we can't do it on nothing. So pitch in if you appreciate all that we've done, all that we're doing, and all that we're poised to get done. And maybe the very last thing I'll say is from Michael Cheney. Michael Cheney, the truck driver from Ohio. Michael says, kick their ass. Tell them a trucker can kiss my ass. So, okay, guys, I'll see you soon. I'll be back tomorrow. Get in the game. Get in the fight. Fight and win. Good luck. God bless. Godspeed, everyone.